In this video, I want to talk to you guys about the number one breakup mistake you can make as a man and how you can avoid it going forward. Obviously, when you go through a breakup, it's devastating, right? You're heartbroken, you're confused, you're judging yourself harshly, you're trying to figure out how to fix a situation, and you're just dumbfounded because you're like, what did I do wrong? How can I get this, reconciled? How can I get back with her? There's a lot of different questions going on, and they usually don't get answered right away. It's very hard to just deal with this, right? I would say the number one thing you want to avoid while you're feeling down, maybe you're going through some depression, you're hurting, is not be desperate, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, don't reach out to her, because if you continue to initiate contact, stay in her life, if you're texting her, just saying, hey, I'm checking up on you, if you're calling her and just trying to have, her presence in your life, you're going to come across as desperate and going to push her away even more. If she wants to break up, she wants to break up. Just respect her for it. You don't have to agree with it, but you don't want to come across as somebody where you're like, I need you in my life, right? I really need you. That's going to kill attraction, and that's going to be a big waste of time for you. Realize if you're going through this stage of desperation, take a step back and reflect and evaluate, and just don't reach out. Because if you continue to just push her buttons, she is going to eventually just block you for good and get really turned off even more. I believe some of the reasons why men struggle with this problem of desperation is maturity. Some of us, when we grow up, there are flaws that we haven't worked on, and they show up in the wrong way. And we're like, oh, wow, I really need to grow in this area. It's just sometimes a lack of maturity. So maybe being desperate is something you haven't really worked on, and now you have an opportunity to really get that under control. So I believe the first reason why we struggle with this is just a lack of maturity, lack of understanding, right? We're not know-it-alls, right? We don't know everything about life, and that's okay. I would say the other thing is attachment styles. One of them is anxious attachment styles. And when we're stressed and we're going through this anxiety, wondering if is she gonna meet somebody else? Am I ever gonna find somebody again? Will we ever get back together? Is she just gonna, go off into the sunset, have a family? Am I never gonna find the one for me, or the girl I thought, would, bring us together? We could have marriage and kids. Now, all these things are going in our heads, and that's an anxious attachment style. When you were in the relationship, you might have felt that anxiousness. We didn't hear from her for a period of time during the day. And that's something that we can struggle with, so there could be an attachment issue going on. Another thing is, and I think this is the big one, is just a lack of a father growing up. I know this might not get talked about a lot, but if your dad wasn't around in your life as a kid, and now you're sucked into this world of adulthood, and you have to train yourself how to be a man, and you weren't given enough principles, enough tools, enough wisdom as a boy, it's a struggle. There's a period of time where you have to figure that all out. And if your dad wasn't there, or if he didn't affirm you enough, if he didn't build you up enough, now you have to do all that on your own. And you're going to stumble and fall. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes, and that is okay. But I do believe, the reason why some of us get so desperate because we didn't have that connection as a kid. And now it's led us into this manhood where we have to figure out things we should have been taught as a child. And as we go through this process and we're trying to figure out, man, why do I struggle being desperate? Why do I get so attached so fast? Maybe because, our dad didn't tell us as a kid that, hey, you got to handle your own responsibilities. You got to, work hard. You got to make sure that you have a sense of purpose. You got to make sure that, you're being a leader. And if those things are, principles weren't taught to us as a kid, then as we're adults learning it, there's going to be some failures, right? And it's could show up in relationships. So if you've had that situation, well, and I know it's tough, if you have the opportunity to reconcile with your dad, I would encourage you to do that. Even if you don't have the best relationship going forward, it is healthy, I believe, to have at least a cordial relationship with your parents, because it's benefited my marriage and it will benefit you as a guy. I'm not saying you have to have a perfect relationship, because every situation is different, but I do believe it's just healthy, right? So when it comes to our dads, if we don't have the best connection, or they've let us down, then that's something we should really dive into and fix, right? Because that's an issue where it's going to rear its ugly head down the road. If you're struggling with a breakup, I would suggest pull away, stay away from her, find things to keep yourself busy. This is a great opportunity to discover things that you've been wanting to do this whole time, but you've been so invested in the relationship. So focus on your purpose. Maybe there's something in your career you've wanted to pursue and you've been so caught up in this relationship, or go after that right now. And just leave the relationship alone, and don't expect her to come back, right? If she does come back, wonderful, right? If she doesn't, all right, let's move on. Because there's plenty of people out there in the world. There's plenty of women who are interested in you, who want to get to know you. can promise you that. After my breakup, I got married within a year, right? And, it was tough at first, but, I found somebody and I moved on. So if that's going to be your story, great. If not, and you get back together, awesome. Either way, it's going to work out for you. So hope you guys enjoy this video today. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Love to hear your thoughts on how you're handling those desperate feelings and those anxieties. Love to hear, from you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.